Then let me ask y'all something. How can a person finish strong when they don't know where the starting line is? You just can't. This is why the initiative I'm about to share with you matters. 2026, this year, we are launching a new initiative called Say No Kidney Disease. We are challenging 1,000 individuals to get tested to know their kidney functions. So many people don't find out that they have kidney disease until the symptoms are severe and it's already too late. You see, kidney disease often has little to no warning signs. That is why we all need to get in position to say no kidney disease. So join us in the fight. Stay connected to us for more information on what you need to do next. And as always, get in position as it relates to your health. This episode was technical directed by Aiden Walker. Hey everyone, welcome to the Kidney Korner Podcast. I am your host, Craig Merritt, also founder and executive director of the Get in Position Foundation. And the Get in Position Foundation is where we empower and equip individuals with kidney disease to take control of their health journey through education, counseling, and personalized support. So we mentor other kidney warriors out there, educate them on their disease, and also help them to advocate for themselves when they go on their doctor's appointments, and also for kidney evaluation for a transplant. So make sure you all visit us at www.getinposition21.org. But without further ado, I don't want to belabor the moment. This young lady, she's incredible. I met her here in Atlanta at an event, Travere Therapeutics event. Shout out to Travere Therapeutics. And she's doing great things. She has an awesome story. And I couldn't wait to get her on the Kidney Korner podcast and introduce her to all of you. She has a lot of great things going on. Without further ado, all the way from Detroit, from the Big D, we have with us Chef Sachet. Welcome, Chef.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
What up, though?
What up, though? What up, though?
How are you?
I'm well. It's so good to see you again. That beautiful smile.
It's so good to see you as well. I've been looking forward to this.
Yes. We've been talking about it ever since last year.
Yes.
And so I know you've been busy. I've been busy. But hey, we're here now. So
we're here.
So let's get into it. Let's
Absolutely.
get into it. So you have a very unique story, and I guess our viewers is wondering, okay, you got a chef on. I know she's gonna talk about a diet and cooking and all of that other stuff. But before we get to that, and why all of this makes sense, and you're hanging out with us on the Kidney Korner, we kicking it on the corner.
Kicking it on the corner.
On the corner. So we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it 100. And you have a very unique story. And if you can get into that just a little bit.
Absolutely. So I currently live in Michigan. I'm from Illinois. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to culinary school. But this kidney journey started for me in 2017 with my son, Aiden. He was 8 years old at the time, and he had started to experience some weird symptoms when I was visiting some family out of town. I had came home and his father FaceTimed me and his eyes were like swollen shut. And he was like, I don't know what happened. He just woke up like this. Maybe he ate something. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, we'll just do Benadryl and see what happens. And Benadryl, nothing changed for like a day and a half. And once he was back home with me, I kind of looked him over and I didn't see anything strange. So I said, okay, like, go take a bath. We'll call your doctor in the morning, figure out what's going on. But when he got undressed to take a shower, I noticed all of his limbs were very severely swollen, almost like he had been stung by 1,000 bees. I thought the swelling was just mostly in his face, but it was all over his body. And so, us already having experience dealing with chronic illness with him being born with hydrocephalus, I was like, okay, great, let's go to the ER. Because mommy doesn't know what this is, and I'm not a doctor. Let's go figure this out.
Right.
And all I could tell them was he woke up swollen like this. There was no warning. There was no symptoms prior that made us alarmed enough to change anything. So after 2 days in the ER, one of the physicians was like, we're going to do a renal panel. We're going to check his kidney function because his labs from his urinalysis had come back and it was quite concerning. So I was like, okay. And I was trying to think, like, did we have anything in our family kidney related? Not necessarily that I knew of at the time. So I was like, okay, we'll do a kidney panel. And from that day in January 2017, we did not leave the hospital for 8 months. We got his renal function panel back and found out that his creatinine was extremely high and his kidney function was depleting rapidly. So they immediately started us on prednisone and other type of steroid therapies, trying to figure out what the issue could be.
Right.
And around Valentine's Day, we had been in the hospital for a little over a month at that point, and we did not really know what was happening. They had diagnosed him with minimal change disease and said, okay, this is something he can manage with medication. We don't have to discuss dialysis or transplant anytime soon, maybe 20, 30 years from now. We will not have to discuss any of that. He can manage on medication. He'll be fine. So we said, okay. But after that month mark, the prednisone was not working. The steroid therapies were not working consistently. And we were trying other albumin therapies and protein therapies, and he was spilling so much protein in his urine. So they finally agreed to do a biopsy. In that February of 2017 is when we found out that he had FSGS. And not only that, but even when he was diagnosed, we were told that it was nothing to worry about.
Wow.
And that with his age, he'll be fine. He won't have to do dialysis for a long time.
So hold on one second. I gotta interrupt here. I gotta stop you here. So in 2017, I'm talking prior to the biopsy, right? Did they diagnose him with kidney disease or no? It was just
they just said he's having some type of kidney issue, right, that we believe is some type of chronic illness, but they would not put it any further. They didn't diagnose anything further than just minimal change disease. Well, this is under the umbrella of nephrotic syndrome. And we think that based off of these symptoms, he has minimal change disease and he'll just manage with medication.
So they kind of played it off and not really made it a priority to really say, okay, it's this.
They wanted to do a full prednisone therapy, which is 6 weeks before doing a biopsy. And that's what we did. We were in the hospital for 6 weeks doing extremely high doses of prednisone, 60, 80 milligrams. and he was bloated and he was irritable and he wasn't eating well. And they had started all these dietary restrictions that he didn't necessarily understand. It's very hard to tell an 8-year-old they can't have ketchup. It's very hard to tell an 8-year-old they can't have potatoes and French fries and the things that they enjoy. So it was difficult, and it was a very confusing time. And once he had the biopsy and we saw that it was FSGS, we still did not have enough information to fully know what this would turn our world upside down into. And February of 2017, they diagnosed him officially with FSGS. July of 2017, my baby was on dialysis. He had gone into full renal failure within 4 months. And we never left the hospital because he just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And we couldn't figure out, like, what the hell is happening. And from there, he started PD dialysis. But because he has hydrocephalus and he has a shunt, that did not last long term. So we had to move to a Aiden, what did we do after that? We did plasmapheresis. So they started him on dialysis and plasmapheresis. So he was also doing infusion treatments while on dialysis to try to keep the disease under control, because unfortunately he had started holding fluid in his lungs, holding fluid in his heart. He was struggling to keep his blood pressure under control. We were just having a lot of complications with this new diagnosis that we didn't fully understand. And the doctors were struggling with it because it got aggressive quickly. It was like very much by the time we got to the hospital, honestly, he was in end-stage renal failure.
I hear you. I heard you when you said, the doctors were struggling with it. And I myself, I was diagnosed with FSGS too. And for the listeners out there, the audience, FSGS is a rare kidney disease. I have a hard time saying it. What the acronym stands for is focal.
Oh, I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Focal segmental glomerulosclerosis.
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what it is, folks.
Yeah.
And you can look it up. You can Google it and just put in FSGS. And it will tell you what it is. You can YouTube it, see a lot of videos on it. I myself was diagnosed with it after a biopsy as well, taken. So I'm very familiar with that. But my point is, it's to me, it's too much. And I don't know the process behind it because I'm not a doctor. Here's a disclaimer on the Kidney Korner Podcast. I am not a healthcare professional. We are not healthcare professionals, but we are experienced professionals. That's the disclaimer here on the Kidney Korner Podcast.
Yes.
And I'm not sure, one of the things that we have to realize as patients and as caregivers, that the doctors are practicing.
Mm-hmm.
They are practicing and experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to bash the healthcare industry or the professionals, but there are some issues. There are some issues that need correcting. And, I just believe that should have sent red flags everywhere as it pertains to your son's diagnosis and what was going on with him. And not to mention during that time, that calculation of kidney function, the EGFR calculation, was a racially biased test, a racially biased calculations. When you have a calculation for Caucasian people, that's exactly what it was, and a calculation for African American. And this, folks, is what was on the test.
Yeah.
This was on the result. It had a regular EGFR, then it had a EGFR if you were African American, which meant if you're African American, that EGFR test said, oh, your kidney functions are okay. They're doing much better than the other people, which was
Mhm.
not true. It was at the same level. So what else did that mean? That meant that we were delayed
Mhm.
treatment,
Mhm.
right? Which we were
Absolutely.
already in failure.
Mhm.
We were already in failure, but we were delayed treatment
Mhm.
and delayed either transplant, which is a form of treatment. So they're waiting. They're waiting to see. Let's try this. Let's
Yeah.
put him on a high dose. He's young. He's 9, he's 8, he's 9. Let's put him on there. Let's wait and see. Let's watch.
It was a difficult time because my understanding of FSGS, which is when the filters in your kidney, the glomeruli that filter all the waste, they just deteriorate over time.
Yes.
And they kind of develop a lot of scar tissue, which
Yes.
makes them inoperable.
Yes.
And for me as a parent, I was a young parent, it was very difficult because I was trying to get as much information as I could while also trusting all the doctors, while also realizing they don't have enough information about this. They're not informed enough. And it's very hard to tell medical professionals
You don't know what you're doing. Let's just put it out there.
you have to ask questions in a certain way
Right.
to not
Right.
alert the ego of certain medical professionals.
That's correct. The
Because
ego.
it is their natural inclination.
Mhm.
And I have been told this by medical professionals. They are trying to ignore us.
Oh, wow.
They are, they're not just trained to ignore African Americans. They're trained to ignore women. They're trained to ignore elderly people who cannot advocate for themselves properly. At the end of the day, there are wonderful medical professionals in this field.
Correct.
But there is a level of comfortability in not knowing something and not having dealt with it. Our issue with our medical team at the time was all these nephrologists had no experience with FSGS patients.
Wow.
I had medical professionals tell me, I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't really dealt with this since medical school. I've never actually seen it in a person. So we need to refer you somewhere else. So what I do appreciate about our medical team that was in Illinois at the time was that they were willing to put us around the people that knew more than us and knew more than them. And so when we ended up moving to Michigan during the pandemic, I got a job opportunity, but Aiden also got a health opportunity because our health system in Michigan, U of M, go blue, NCAA champions, right? They were more nephrology focused. And when I
Nice.
tell you,
Hi, I'm Dr. Julie Wright Nunes, and you are watching the Kidney Korner Podcast.
the treatment and the everything, the door was blown wide open with options that were just genuinely not available in Chicago. And that's a crazy thing to think of. Oh, you're in a big city, but certain hospitals, certain children's hospitals specialize in certain things.
That's true.
The hospital that we were at specialized in cardiology. And even though Aiden had issues with his heart due to the kidney function, because there's a direct correlation,
Right.
his care was not cardiology focused. He needed nephrology focused care, and we were able to get that. We have a wonderful medical team now, but Aiden's journey has been difficult. He's had 2 transplants. The first one was in Chicago. The second one was here in Michigan, and both have failed over time due to the recurrence of the FSGS. So in that process of his first transplant, we learned Aiden does not just have FSGS. He has RFSGS, which is recurrent focal segmental glomerulosclerosis, which means that even with transplant, there is a very high likelihood that the kidney disease will come right back. And it did both times.
Wow.
So right now we are managing on dialysis, and he's doing very well. We are currently not pursuing transplant, but that is because I think it is more important to keep him mentally protected and out of the hospital. And he has been very open and honest about, I don't know if I can handle that level of disappointment again right now.
Right.
Let's pursue that when there are some other medication options available through the FDA that would allow my disease progression to slow in a less invasive way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
That's awesome.
It's an interesting, it's an interesting journey. And it's honestly why I started advocating. I started talking to people on Facebook, and then I joined a kidney group on Facebook of moms whose kids were battling. It wasn't even just FSGS. It was all the entire gamut of nephrotic syndrome. We're all grouped into this one thing, but we all have all these different issues, and they all affect our bodies differently. But to be honest with you, Craig, when Aiden was first diagnosed, there was not an FSGS only support group that I could talk to. It was like everybody with kidney disease, everybody on dialysis.
Put in the same box.
Yes, there was no individualized care, or there was no individualized advocacy.
Awesome.
So through meeting people, I started connecting with some kidney foundations nationally, and I've started kind of using my gift of cooking for people and helping heal people through food to then, advocate for my child and help to heal him as well. So it's interesting how God works. It's interesting.
It's
how
always interesting.
our gifts for the greater good.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would be in a position to be able to teach other people how to eat and live a healthier life, and just trying to do it for my child, because as parents, we do what we have to do. We don't look at it like, oh, I'm this superhero coming to swoop in and save the day. And you don't feel like a superhero a lot when you can't actually fix the problem. You're just focused on getting through every day and focused on trying your hardest to make sure that your child is not suffering, whether that's mentally, physically, whatever, So it has been quite a journey. But honestly, what year is it? 2026, 9 years into this. I feel confident that there will be a cure or some type of therapy available in the near future to slow the progression of the disease. I have heard talks of there being a possible autoimmune component to FSGS, and that makes a lot of sense.
It does. It definitely makes a lot of sense, and we're going to keep a lookout for that. I know some of my friends over there at Trevere are working on something right now. I can't get into it, but shout out to them.
Yeah.
I want to go back a bit because I want you to speak to the parents out there, maybe some young parents out there who they may be affected by something like this. Speak to how important it is now that you've been through that stage of it. You've come through it. Thank God you've come through it. And when I say come through, I'm talking about the stage of the unknown. The stage of, okay, you're observing your medical team, your healthcare team. They are bewildered by this and they don't know what to do. And they're not totally being honest about them not knowing, right?
Yes.
Understanding.
It's not that they're lying about anything, but they're just not being honest about the fact that they don't know either. And honestly, to any medical professional that sees this, sometimes as a parent, we can sense when you don't know what you're talking about. So I would advise medical professionals to lead with a little bit more honesty, because leading with gray area of, okay, well, we're looking into it, that's only going to bring you so much comfort. And to my medical parents, I advise you to do your own research, to seek second and third opinions, but also be understanding and be graceful in trying to work with your medical team. Advocate for your child 100%, but understand they are human beings just like you, and they are working very hard to understand things. And I think medical professionals get frustrated when they've had all this schooling and there's all these studies and all these publications, and they can't provide you the proper answers. So understand that they're going through it as well, and they're here to help you. You all just have to find a communication style that works for the both of you. Because here's the thing about doctors, their job is to save your child's life. So tell them exactly what you need and how you prefer to be communicated with. Aiden got to a certain age where he didn't want them stepping out of his room to talk about his medical stuff. He wanted them in the room explaining it to him, because at the end of the day, he felt like, I'm not a baby and I'm not going to be a kid forever. And this is, and if this is something that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life, I want to know exactly what's going on with my body so I can know how to advocate for myself as well. And he does a great job advocating for himself now. I don't even go to dialysis with him every day because he's almost 18 and he doesn't want his mommy there all the time. And he started his medical transition into adult medicine.
Okay.
So they have him doing rounds with his team by himself now.
Nice.
And he's done an incredible job advocating, but it took time to get there.
Of course.
So I would love to talk about, what it took to get there, because there's a lot of parents that don't want to advocate. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to ask their family any, family history questions, but that was all part of the process. I had to get on the phone, Black people, and talk about my medical business. Black folks.
Say it.
Okay?
Say it.
We don't like that.
We on the corner. Say it.
Listen, our community suffers because we do not communicate about what is medically necessary for us to communicate about. Nobody cares about who's going 50-50 on dinner. Okay. Nobody cares about, what pop culture thing is happening. What the conversations we need to be having is, I got an uncle that was on dialysis, or I have a grandparent that was on dialysis. What led to that? How did they get there? Because I had an aunt who was on and off dialysis for 32 years. And I was told by my family, well, that's her business. And I'm like, not when it comes to my baby that's been laying in the hospital for months. Now, this is everybody's business now. So let's talk about it. How did you get to that place? And she had her own journey with being misdiagnosed with some health issues in the 80s and 90s, and come to find out she had extremely high blood pressure, and she went into kidney failure when she was 30. And my aunt was active and fit and skinny, and she didn't smoke, she didn't drink, and nobody could understand why she was on dialysis at 30. And in the 90s, nobody asked any questions. It was like her battle to deal with, and she dealt with it. And she lived well into her mid 60s until the Lord, said, okay, you don't have to do this anymore. Come on home. She had 2 kidney transplants. One lasted 10 years. One lasted 12 years. And so she had her own journey. But I realized in my family, like, we're way too secretive about things that we need to be talking about, because this could save another family member's life. Nobody thought a generation later I would have a child that had kidney issues. So
it's cultural. That's a cultural thing that we have to debunk. We have to get rid of it. We really have to get rid of it and tear down that wall of being ashamed. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's medical. Something happened. And if I could help it, I wouldn't have stood in that line to get that disease. Who wants to stand in that line, right?
Exactly.
So it's nothing that I could have helped about it, but I think it's for a lack of knowledge our people perish. And the lack of knowledge is that the more that your medical team, your healthcare team knows about your history, the more it could make sense, because really we have to put the pieces together. Because this is a puzzle.
It is.
This is a big puzzle as to, okay, we never seen that. We've heard of it, but we never seen it. So, okay, we got to start at the beginning.
Yes.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the doctor's office, if the year is starting off, it's a new year, or you're going to a different doctor's office, they want to know the history. It's
Yeah.
all these forms you want to fill out. Okay,
Yeah.
your mama, daddy, grandmama, grandfather, blah, 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 blah. And many of us are sitting there in the lobby, like scratching our head, like, I don't know. I don't know what mama and them had. And so
And if we ask, we're met with a brick wall.
yeah, we got to stop. And then we also have to learn how to pull it out of people. We have to learn how to, it's just communication skills.
Yes.
Not all of us have it, but we have to practice it and to be upfront and honest about it all. But
absolutely.
Chef, listen, you are breaking it down. I hope
I'm trying to say to people,
viewers, right? The viewers are really getting something from this. And when I say viewers, I'm talking especially to those who are caregivers, who are parents. I put out a post not too long ago, and it was just telling people that you're more than. There's a specific scripture in Romans 8:31 through 39. 37 is the one that says we are more than conquerors. And the thing that we miss is the more than.
Yes.
It's the more than. I'm a conqueror first and foremost.
Come on.
But it's the more than. What does that mean? You're more than just a chef. You're more than just a mom. You're more than just a sibling. You're more than just a woman, a female. You're an advocate, right? You're more than. Yeah. So hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, watching this and listening to this, we're more than that.
Yes.
And we have to convey that to our healthcare team. I'm not just his mother. I'm his caregiver.
I'm his caregiver. I'm his chef. I'm his therapist.
Right.
I'm his housekeeper.
Right.
I'm his nurse.
Right.
I'm his everything. And the more than is so important. To my kidney patients, you are more than your disease. To my caregivers, you are more than caregiving. That is not your only identity, but understand that God has tasked you with a task that must be completed. And that means showing up for that person, whether it's a child, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a parent, whether it's a loved one, whether it's a friend. God gave you this opportunity. I think sometimes we have to reframe and we look at everything so negatively. This is an opportunity. God tasked me with being Aiden's mother, but I didn't know what all that would come with.
Wow.
And me being given the honor and the privilege to be his caregiver and help walk with him through life and walk with him through this journey, and we both learn this together, that is an honor. I am honored to stand in front of you today and talk to you about the things that my child has dealt with and how we've moved through it as a family. And I get it. I was a young parent. I had Aiden young, me and his dad got married young, and we got divorced younger. Amen. So, it was hard. It was hard. We were in our mid-20s dealing with end-stage renal failure for our kid. And we're divorced. And we're broke. Okay. We live in the city of Chicago.
That part, right?
I was working at a restaurant when this happened.
Wow.
I didn't have good health insurance.
Right.
Dad was working at a bank or something, as a bank teller. We weren't making really good money. We were just surviving. And I love what you said about being more than, because when God gives you something, he equips you with more than what you could ever think that you would need to get through it. He placed people in our lives. He placed organizations in our lives, foundations, resources, all these things to help us manage. And he also placed on his father and I the responsibility of, this ain't about y'all. This is about him. And I remember very early on in Aiden's journey, we sat down and we said, okay, helping him through this, keeping him here, saving him through this, because not all kids with FSGS live long lives. And we have had friends whose children have succumbed to this illness. We have to come as a united front no matter what. Your personal stuff got to be put aside. My personal stuff got to be put aside, because right here, we show up as mom and dad. And we show up as a united front to these doctors as well. Because as much as I'm so eloquently spoken, and as much as I know all the medical jargon, sometimes you need somebody else there with you to say, oh, no, I agree with her. I think we should do the x-ray. No, I think that we should push for this. So even within advocating for him, we had to be each other's advocate and show these medical team members that we're on the same page.
A united front.
You're not going to tell him one thing and tell me something different.
A united front. A united front.
Locked in on. Amen.
Amen.
And that's important. That's important to show a strong Black family, a supportive family, even in the face of adversity in the medical field, because there is medical bias. I show up as a young woman, as a young Black woman with a young child, and a lot of times my needs and his needs are not taken seriously because society has conditioned us to see Black people as less than. There is not the same level of urgency. That is just what it is. But as Black people, we have to learn how to navigate around that until everything around here changes and we are being treated the way we should be treated consistently for a couple centuries, because that's what we're owed. Amen. We have to know how to operate in these rooms. We have to know the medical jargon. Do your Googles, people. Google these words. I'd be in rounds and I'd be like, I don't know what that word meant. Spell it. And I'd write it down and then I'd research it later. Or I would ask for his medical records to be explained to me.
Hey, listen.
Or I'm going to get a second opinion and ask somebody else to explain it to me. And then they'll tell me what's going on. Huh?
Listen, folks. You are watching the Kidney Korner Podcast. It's real. We on the corner, just keeping it real.
Speaking the truth.
Speaking the truth, letting it all hang out. Chef Sachet, listen, I appreciate that so much, because one of the things that we try to teach at the Get in Position Foundation, our mentees, we teach them, number one, dealing with this disease. Number one, it's a monster, number one. And you gotta assemble your team. Assemble your team. And your team could be your spouse. It could be your co-parent. In your case, your co-parent. It could be your parents. It could be your siblings. But assemble a team. It's going to take a team effort to get things moving, to get the results that you're looking for, to get the answers that you want to your question. And you said something very, very key, the united front. And you're not going to tell him one thing and tell me another. One of the things that I have, and you can tell me if you experience this or not, dealing with Aiden, right? His situation, that you and your ex-husband, Aiden's dad, at the time when they saw you guys come together as a united front, did you get a different form of treatment? Did you feel as though you guys were treated a lot better?
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think it was because he's a man. There was a certain level of respect. And because we went into it from the jump, like I had Aiden that night after he was with his dad for the weekend, because I was traveling and visiting family.
Right.
So I took him to the ER by myself. But once we realized that we were getting admitted, his dad was right there. And that's when we established like whatever, because we had some experience with chronic illness with him having hydrocephalus, but we didn't have a lot of issues with it. He had a shunt when he was baby. He had one revision surgery when he was like 6, and then we were good. Like he had never even stayed the night in the hospital. Wow. So we had to go into it like, this is bigger than both of us, and we don't understand this, but we have to work together. And there's times where I would get frustrated and emotional, and he's let me respond. And there's times when he would get frustrated and emotional, and I said, let me respond. Because unfortunately, being African-American, we still have to keep our emotions in check, because us showing emotion sometimes is deemed threatening.
It's a threat. Right? It's a threat.
Even when it's not.
Right.
When it's just raw emotion of, my baby is sick. Please help me. I'm begging you to help me.
Why can't we be human just like everybody else?
It really is like that sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Yeah. So we had to keep our emotions in check. If he was getting too emotional and I was worried about him being deemed as aggressive and being labeled, because that's what they love to do, I would have him excuse himself, and he would do the same for me. We gave each other a lot of grace. We gave our medical team a lot of grace. And here's why. I don't want people saying, oh, well, you talk about grace like it's so easy. God still wakes my baby up every day. Every day. When I know other parents who have not been that blessed. My child has survived 2 kidney transplants. He has survived 2 kidney transplant failures. He has survived the removal of a transplanted kidney because it had filled up with blood and it was about to burst. He had survived talks of his medical team wanting to put him in palliative care because they were not sure that once that transplanted kidney was removed, his body would have enough sustainable function to even handle dialysis. Okay? God has brought us through every time.
Yes.
Every single time.
Indeed. Wow.
With the grace that God gives me every single day to have the opportunity to look in his eyes, I will continue to extend that grace to medical professionals, to co-parents, to parents. We were both dating other people and ended up getting in long-term relationships with other people during this whole time. And those other partners had to understand, hey, this is what it is. If you're going to be on this team, this is how you got to show up as a teammate. You got to be willing to sit on the bench in these moments. You got to be willing to jump in and do the alley-oop. Amen. I work with a lot of professional athletes, but I do not watch a lot of sports. So it's okay. Excuse my references and stuff if they're terrible. But I do know a little bit about coaching. Amen.
You using it in the right context. So you good. That's good. If you didn't, I'd be like, hold timeout. I have to call a timeout on you. Or throw a flag, foul, or something like that. But you good. You good. Listen, folks.
Yes.
You guys have witnessed or heard in the first half of this conversation, I'll say how to be an advocate, how to stand up for yourself, how to be a caregiver, and those practices. It's not just if your child is that. It could be for your spouse. It could be for your sibling. It could be for a friend. If you're a caregiver all around. And also, too, I hope everyone has taken notice of how you partner. If it's because a lot of families, it's tough because we're so emotional, or if we're taking care of mom or dad. We see a lot of that in our generation now, the sandwich generation, what they call it, that a lot of us are taking care of our parents, with illnesses and so on and so forth. And sometimes other siblings don't join in to help out. They don't know how to help out, or they're too emotional. I've never seen my mom that way. I never seen my dad that way. But you still, as a team, as a unit, we still need to come together, and we need to know and learn how to communicate. That's what I heard from you and your ex-husband. To me, I commend the both of you. You've done a great job, an awesome job, communicating with one another and taking up for one of awesome teammates, right? Like, hey, yo, go take a break.
Yeah.
Go take a break. And you guys were in tune to one another. And the common goal was Aiden. That was it. It was Aiden. So that's just awesome. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, you guys got a lot from that, because right now I want to take it to the chef part. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
Wait, let me add one thing to that.
go ahead.
When you build your team, the second thing you got to do is fine tune the circle of trust. Because here's the thing, everybody's going to want to be on your team. Everybody's going to want to show up and bring food and do all the things, but everybody is not equipped. And God did not align everybody to go be in every part of the story. So you have to say, okay, my family members that love me so much, that want to call and pray and be on the phone all night, but then post everything on Facebook, they can't know the intimate details of everything. But my family members that are willing to get on the road and give us breaks so we can go home. My parents would come in town just to be with Aiden in the hospital so I could go home and shower and go to bed, because I would not leave. I gave up my apartment. I quit my job. I moved in with friends. I put my stuff in storage because we were living in the hospital. So you have to have people that you trust that can show up for you, but you have to fine tune it. You have to fine tune it, and you have to accept that everybody cannot be a part of every step of the process for your own mental fortitude. You don't want to be drained trying to allow people to help you. You have to say, okay, the people that can bring food, yes. The people that can be consistent in doing the things that they're good at to help you. I would have an aunt that would just come over and do laundry, and she'd be like, just wash clothes. And that was it. And that was all. It was like the one little thing that I needed off my plate. So you have to fine tune that circle of trust, because we did have to have conversation with family members like, hey, don't post nothing. Okay? Because that's how misinformation gets spread. That's how fear and panic gets spread. And we got enough fear. Okay? Yes. We are standing on the shoulders of our Lord and Savior. We not walking in here with fear. You got to leave that fear mongering on the internet. Okay? Right. You can't come in here with fear, because we're coming in here with faith. And we're coming in here with hope. And we're coming in here with whatever we have to do. Even if we faking it, we coming in here with it. Okay? Right. Fake it till you make it, you know? So that's very important. So I just had to say that.
No, that's good. That's good stuff. You have to set boundaries. Even if, people's, they feel it, because some people, they wear their emotions and feelings on their shirt sleeve, but they got to deal with that. And you have to respect our request and our boundaries.
Yeah, because Aiden was young, and we couldn't have everybody, oh Lord, Aiden, like we couldn't have people falling out in front of him and all that. Because Aiden was also very mentally strong. When he was a kid, he would be like, am I dying? What has happened to me? Am I ever gonna go home? Am I ever gonna go to school again? Like, these were like real things that we had to deal with. So we had to put him in therapy. We had to make sure that that his circle was protected, so that no outside negativity could even reach him. We had to eliminate all that. So there's a lot of protection in building your team and fine-tuning that circle of trust, because there is a certain level of protection that has to be maintained, especially when you're a parent of a kid that's going through it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. And for those parents out there who are dealing with children with chronic illnesses, don't underestimate your child and your child's understanding of what's going on. Only you know, but I would just add, don't underestimate that, because to me, you're discriminating against them. It may not feel like or seem like it, but it is. And, you have to explain to them, this is what's happening.
Yes.
This is,
and they want to know.
They want to know. They're curious. And so you have to let them know. You tailor it, but only you know your child. The only thing I'll say is, Don't underestimate the fact that they don't understand or could make a decision.
Yeah. Because we got to that point at one point in our journey where it was like, Aiden, what do you want to do? Do you want to remove the kidney and try at dialysis again? Or do you want to go into palliative care and just kind of ride out whatever left of what time you have? And Aiden chose to keep fighting. We could not make that decision for him. And we refused to make that decision for him because as I'm speaking to my caregiver parents, I love y'all. I love y'all with all my heart. So receive this with love. This is not happening to you. It's happening in front of you. It's not physically happening to you. I can be an advocate and a warrior for FSGS all day long, but I do not have FSGS. So I have to be mindful that there is a certain level of this experience that I have no experience with and I have no true knowledge of because I am on the caregiver side. It's not directly happening to me. And so we have made that very clear. Whatever decisions he wants to make about his medical journey, we want him to be empowered, informed, and confident in his decision making because this is happening to him. And I think that years of therapy, of all of us being in therapy through all this, because once Aiden was diagnosed, we put him in therapy immediately. Because we were seeing other parents like let their kids skip dialysis, let their kids eat whatever, because they're like, well, we don't know. We just want to keep them happy. And you're actually keeping him sicker by only feeding the emotional needs and not the physical needs and the mental needs and all of those things. So we had to like all get into therapy. We all had to just sit down together and say, hey, we're going to go through all of this together, but we're going to make sure that we're mentally prepared and we have the tools, because what I'm not going to do is make you sicker trying to soothe the emotional part of this journey. That is not helpful. And us caregivers have to remember it is happening in front of us. It's not happening to us. So you have to keep that in check. You know?
Wow. You said you listen, folks. This is the Kidney Korner Podcast. And I tell you what, I remember I was watching this documentary on Quincy Jones, the late great Quincy Jones. And somebody asked him a question, you know, what is your approach to recording music and producing with great people? He said, man, you go in there and do what you do, but you always leave room for God, right? That's the magic. He said, that's the magic. So I say that to say this, folks. I came with one thing on my mind, and, you know, I thought we were going to be talking about food, but hey, it's Chef Sachet, the chef who advocates. That's what we're talking about. The advocating chef.
Too. I do, but I just had to put it out there, like
the advocating chef.
This is a difficult journey, and
it is.
I want your wonderful audience to understand that, like, we didn't just get here magically. You know, this took years of work and years of patience and years of, okay, God, come on now, do something.
Right.
And years of just trying to, you know, see through his process as well. But yes, let's talk about the food. Let's talk about the food, because the food is hard. The food is a very hard part of it.
Okay. So all right. So we dealt with the disease. So how important is a diet as it relates to FSGS, this rare kidney disease, and kidney disease, period? How does maintaining a healthy diet, and I know we use healthy very broadly, because I know for myself, when I was diagnosed, I was at stage 3 when I was diagnosed, and I was on a very strict diet at the time, low protein, low potassium. I'm pretty sure you've heard this.
Low phosphorus,
all of that, right? So
fluid restrictions,
yes. And so your skill and your profession at being a chef, how does that come to play? And how do we put that in the forefront and so we can maintain Aiden's health?
So there's a few things that are very important that you have to understand right off the bat. When you're diagnosed, they oftentimes give you a dietitian, right? Like somebody on the medical team is a dietitian, and you get a pamphlet full of nasty recipes. Here, just eat this. No flavor, no love, no soul, no nothing. Just
Nothing.
fuel to get you through the next day.
Bland.
That's a difficult thing to do. And us being
Mhm.
African American people, food is a huge part of our culture, and it's a huge part of our love language and how we show our love. So I had to break that down. The fluid restriction. Okay, most patients with FSGS are limited with fluid because your kidneys don't work, your filters don't work. That means the waste is not leaving your body, which is why you have the medical necessity for dialysis. Keeping that fluid restriction under control. Part of that is drink the fluid that's important. Don't waste all your food, your fluid on pop and juice. Drink water because that helps. It really does help. FSGS is a tricky disease because you need the diet and you need the medication to work in unison in order to keep your body healthy. So you have to be mindful of your fluid. You will be sicker for longer by not maintaining your fluid restriction. Number 2, low potassium, low phosphorus. Those are vitamins that we naturally get from our food. But when your kidneys do not work, your kidneys cannot filter out the excess potassium and phosphorus that you get from your food. So that's things like dairy, meat, dark green vegetables, seafood. All those have potassium and phosphorus, especially certain vegetables and fruits, bananas, mangoes, grapefruit, like all these different things have very high numbers in those vitamins. So you have to limit those because your body does not know how to filter it out on its own anymore. So that's a very important part of it. Following those steps, the low sodium, very, very important, especially being predispositioned to diabetes and heart disease and high blood pressure. And having had high blood pressure in both of my pregnancies with my children, I have a history of eclampsia. So low sodium is very important because I was at risk for postnatal diabetes and postnatal hypertension with both of them. So it's very important. Listen, I love salt like everybody else. You can live with a minimal amount. Yes, your body needs so much salt to function, but it don't need a McDonald's French fry amount of salt every day.
No, and what I'm hearing, them fries ain't even fry. They just fries. I don't know about potato, but
Right. Won't know what that is.
they don't know what that is.
You know,
If they can sit on the shelf for 6 months to 2 years and still keep their form, no mold, nothing. Yeah,
I don't know. We should eat
I
exactly.
don't know.
It's a lot of mental discipline. It truly is a lot of mental discipline.
Right.
So for my kidney people, in terms of the diet, be mindful of this. You can have delicious, flavorful things, but it has to be done in a moderate way. Instead of lots of salt and lots of high salt seasonings, use fresh herbs, use spices, use other things, and use minimal salt, when you have to. For my people that love sweets and love sugary things, yes, that is not as affected by FSGS, but do not replace salt with sugar intake. Don't do that. Because I see people do that with their kids. Like, okay, well, he can't have salty things. We'll just give him candy. And it's like, well, that's not helpful either. And I was told that. Oh, we'll just let him have as much candy, as much sugar as he wants. No, because now you're putting your pancreas at risk, and your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, your heart, your lungs, they all work in order together.
Right. And this is one of the things that I'm beginning to add to my education curriculum and awareness about this nasty disease. This kidney disease, folks, is nasty.
It is.
And what people don't understand is that little organ, because it's not a huge organ, it's not big or huge. If you ball up your fist is the size of your kidney, right? That's your kidney right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's so small, but it's so powerful, right? If that organ fails, everything else begins to break down.
Yes.
Understand that it's a filtration system. And if the filtration system is malfunctioning, everything else because everything else is backed up.
Yes, everything else is out of order.
It's out of order. And so if I overload you with another thing that this filtration can't filter, guess what? You're going to be dealing with now diabetes now. You're going to be dealing with that. Okay, we got to lower the salt, but you decide to heighten the sugar, the glucose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And also, guess what is the leading cause for kidney disease? Diabetes. That's the number one. The number two is hypertension, high blood pressure, folks. So, I mean, you cannot, there is no substitute for one or the other.
No, it's not.
We have to educate ourselves on knowing, what these things do, and that one thing is already damaged.
Yeah. I look at it like your body is a city.
Mm-hmm.
What would happen to that city if waste management disappeared? There was nobody to filter. There was nobody to clean. And look at it this way. Waste management handles more than just picking up the trash, right?
Yes, they do.
They keep the streets clean.
Yep.
Your kidneys filter the blood in your veins.
Yeah.
When those streets are dirty and that trash is piling up, it starts to stink.
Yes.
Starts to affect other things in the city. Starts to affect other organs in your body.
Right.
So we really have to be mindful of what we're putting in our body. I have a lot of kidney resources. Anybody, I'll give you guys my email, chefsachet@gmail.com. You can find my website, chefsachet.com. I have a meal prep company for pro athletes, feelYourAthlete.com. And because I work with professional athletes and keeping them healthy, but that I gained that experience through keeping my baby healthy.
Nice.
Keeping other people around us healthy. And so it's very important. And you can do it. You can do it. Trust me.
You can. If you get your mind in the right place, you can really do it. If you do things, practicing doing things for at least 60 days, it becomes a habit. I've learned that. But I've also learned when we throw out the word discipline, being disciplined, one thing that I have learned what being disciplined is. Mm-hmm. Discipline is not just, okay, I'm going to stop doing this. I'm going to make sure I stop doing this or start doing that.
Yes.
But one thing, think of discipline as this. Discipline is not just a word, but discipline is a weapon.
Ooh.
Discipline is a weapon.
Ooh.
Against an enemy.
Yes.
That is going to harm you or that can cause disruption or deterioration.
Yes.
In this case, around this subject, I have to be disciplined, meaning I have to pick up my weapon of discipline in order to defeat the progression of this disease.
Preach. Yes.
That's
discipline is your line of defense. Absolutely.
It's your line of defense. So we have to look at discipline. It's hard. It's hard to be disciplined because yes, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's why military people go through training.
Yes.
They have to train and learn and
Mm-hmm.
understand that weapon,
Yes.
that rifle that they have. They have to learn how to dismantle it and
Mm-hmm.
put it back together.
Mm-hmm.
What type of, because in discipline, if it's my weapon, what type of ammunition goes into this weapon? I can't put a 45 mag into a 22 gun.
Right.
It's not going to fit.
No.
It's not going to fit.
No.
So approach discipline, folks, as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So you every day I gotta pick up this weapon because today I gotta go fight this disease. I gotta go fight dialysis. And some days I'm coming off of dialysis. I ain't have a good treatment today. And do we know why?
Yeah.
Do we know why? So that's what I learned discipline to be. It's my weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Love.
so I just wanted to get that out. I recall when I met you at the event here in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
you were on a panel and you were being interviewed. And one of the things you mentioned, and this is no discredit to these healthcare professionals, but one thing that stuck out to me because it resonated within my spirit, I caught it right as soon as you said it. You mentioned this thing with dietitians and nutritionists.
Yes.
Talk about that, being a chef, because there's some things you found out as being a chef that what these dietitians and nutritionists was talking about was like, yo, what? Nah, that's not it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, talk about that for a second. Talk about that.
Yes. So their specialty is food science.
Mm,
They know how to engineer a meal. They don't know how to create flavor.
Ooh.
They don't know how to make it taste good. They just know, okay, if you have these issues, if you can't have fluid, if you're low sodium, low potassium, these are the ingredients you can use, but they don't know how to whip it up and make it into something edible.
Mm.
And that's where I come in, because I take the science and I take this from here and this from here and this from here, and I put it together into a dish. And then that's how we create, low sodium or low phosphorus spaghetti and meatballs. We take out the salt. We add fresh basil to the meat. We add fresh garlic. We add, Italian herbs and seasonings and chili flakes to create flavor, to build a flavor profile for whatever we're going to eat. Just because you have a chronic illness does not mean that you do not deserve to eat like a 5-star chef.
Oh, nice. That's refreshing. That is so refreshing to know. That
Listen,
is very refreshing to know.
you
Wow.
deserve to eat like the kings and queens and like everybody else. And I think sometimes when there is a medical need tied to our diet, we just eliminate flavor. Like, no, you're already suffering. Why would I make you suffer more with shitty food? No, we're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Right.
Aiden just said amen in the corner over there.
Amen.
Like, you're already suffering. Like, let's figure this out. Let's work together on this. So dietitians and nutritionists are incredibly important, but just know that their skill set is the science of food. Their skill set is looking at your medical records and being able to say, okay, we have to eliminate this. We have to eliminate this. We need to bring in more of this. We need to adjust how much of this. And then I come in and I say, okay, this is what that actually looks like on a plate.
Nice. So would you say to someone who may be watching, our audience out there, because it could be a dialysis patient, kidney patient, who are listening and saying, yeah, so much restrictions and I can't and blah blah blah. And then you got people out there saying, look, hey, I'm just eating what I'm gonna eat because that
Well,
food nasty, so on and
both
so
of y'all call me. Let me help you. Let me help you.
so
Because
so would you say, okay, don't do that part.
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't overindulge out of lack of knowledge. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do
Okay.
that. What you need to do is you need to connect with your dietitian, connect with or your nutritionist, have them provide you recipes, but also pump them for resources to see how I can make this better. Because they know people, Aiden's dietitian tells people about me all the time. I'm like, give other people my number. I don't care. Like, let me help you through this. I am a classically European trained chef. I have worked in the NBA. I have worked for the NFL. I have worked for the MLB. I've worked for athletes. I've worked for celebrities. I've worked for billionaires. I've worked for millionaires. I've worked for politicians. I can help guide you through this. Also, if you have somebody in your family that claim to be the cook of the family, new challenge, chef. Bring in your family in this part as well, because you're not going to be in the hospital forever. You still got to go do Thanksgiving at grandma's house. You just got to know what you can eat.
Right.
Maybe we don't put ham in the greens this year. Amen.
Okay.
You know, maybe we do no salt butter in the cornbread.
Oh, all right. Okay. The chefing right now. You chefing right now.
Maybe instead of fried chicken, we do more grilled chicken. Who got a grill? Who needs to learn how to barbecue? Like, there are ways to make this work for you. You just have to be creative, and you have to be open-minded. You have to be willing to reach out and say, hey, this is what social media is good for. Hey, who can help me with this? Because that's how I got any information. I said, Lord, my baby got kidney disease. I don't know what this means. Somebody help me. And people just started, oh, well, I know this person. You have to be open to it. We have to get back to community. If we're going to use the internet, we need to use it for good and build
it for good. Okay. Say less. So after this, we're gonna have another conversation. You and we're gonna have another conversation. And folks, it's none of y'all's business yet. But I got something brewing.
Absolutely.
And me and Chef, we're gonna work it out, and we're gonna bring something special to y'all. So just stay tuned for that. Listen, Chef, wow, I'm just blown away. I had like a ton of questions and forget it, whatever. And so
I'll come back and do another episode.
But we tell you what, we're gonna do something special. It's brewing in my mind. Okay. And we're gonna come together. We're gonna do something nobody's ever seen before.
Let's do it.
And we're gonna make it hot. Listen, Chef Sachet, thank you so much for being with us on the corner. You are now a hangout partner. You can come hang out on the corner anytime you feel like it. Whenever you in town, you can hang out on the Kidney Korner Podcast. I thank you so much for your time. I thank Brother Aiden for helping out on engineering.
Yes. Because I said, come help your mama.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And helping out and everything for technical producing this episode. Thank you so much, Aiden. I'll give you that credit, brother. Technical producer. That's what you did. That's what you did. If you didn't know you did that, that's what you were doing. You're a technical producer today. So, Chef, are there any final words you want to say to the audience right now?
Well, first of all, Craig, thank you for standing up and being a patient in this community that understands that this disease, that you are more than number one, because we need brothers like you that will speak to our community, that say, hey, I'm in it, I'm living in it, but I'm making it happen. You're an incredible role model, and you're definitely someone that Aiden can look up to and say, he's got FSGS and he's got gray hair. You'll be fine. You You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You are such a beacon of hope, and you are such a powerful and positive guiding light within our community. All my respect and love to you, my brother. I
Thank you.
really appreciate you. And I thank
I
you so
appreciate
much
you, sis.
for allowing me to run my mouth and tell my story and talk about my sweet little baby. So I'm so grateful. And if you want to reach out to me, Chef Sachet at gmail.com, chefsachet.com, Chef Sachet on Instagram, all things Chef Sachet. You can find me. It really is me. I will respond to you, even if it's late at night. I don't care. If you need recipe help, if you need help finding nutritionists or dietitians, and if you just need an ear, I got you, boo. Call me anytime.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I really appreciate that. We're gonna kick you backstage in the green room. It's a lot of snacks and everything. Healthy snacks. We got healthy snacks for healthy snacks in the green room. Chef Sachet, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And again, we'll be talking. You take care.
You. God bless you.
All right. Listen, folks, I don't know about you. I hope you all were empowered, inspired by Chef Sachet's story, her and Aiden, her son Aiden. One of the things that really got me was the advocacy piece and also the caregiver piece. And so listen, we're gonna prepare some things for you guys. So just get ready. Visit us at getinposition21.org. It's been scrolling at the bottom of your screen for this whole time. If you guys want to connect with us, you can email us at info@getinposition21.org. And as always, folks, we like to say, make sure you get in position as it relates to your health. We see you guys soon. Take care.